It is later on the Sunday evening of July 26, 2015, and that vehicle is heading eastward down Highway 27 into Prud'homme, Saskatchewan. Jean Sauvé was from Prud'homme, and she was the first Lady Speaker of the House of Commons, 1980 to 1984, and the first female Governor General of Canada, 1984 to 1990. The arena dates from 1967, and behind it is the curling rink from 1956. Joseph Paul Marcotte was the first settler in this area, establishing the Bluebell Ranch in 1897. He was followed by many other French people, and from 1900 contingents of Ukrainians arrived in the neighborhood. With a big influx after the Great War, Hungarians too came to this region. Oh, beautiful ball diamonds. Lonely in the gloaming. Still on the south side of the village. And looking north along St. John Street across the railway tracks to the Old Town Jail on Railway Avenue. And here we are on Railway Avenue, looking sort of northwest at the corner of Main. The two-story Royal Hotel was built in this location in 1907. It was changed to the Flanders in 1936, and it burned up in 1957. It was rebuilt on a smaller scale. Louis A. Lafreniere opened up the post office of Howell on the town site here in 1907, February the 1st, in his hardware store. And looking along Railway Avenue, there's the side of the jail. Besides the Royal Hotel in 1907, on the Howell town site, there was Nay's Cafe and Boarding House, Marcotte's Blacksmith Shop, and Massey Harris dealership, Guillemet's store, along with Lafreniere's store, and other businesses. On the north side of the village was the convent of Les Filles de la Providence, teachers. Looking down towards the village office there, the village of Howell was incorporated on May the 2nd, 1908. Population was peaked in 1966 at 321. It's climbed back up to 172 come 2011. Here we are on Government Road and the fire department. Looking due north up Government Road. Credit union dates from 1944, although that building is from 1975. Looking south on Government Road, which is in fact Range Road 281. There's the arena down there. On the east side of the road to the left, the town site is laid out cardinally. To the west, it's mostly laid out perpendicular to the railway tracks. Except for Government Road, of course, which does run due north-south. Oh, I can hear something coming. The elevators in Prud'homme were across the tracks over there on the other side. 1907, the Canadian Elevator Company got built, British America in 1908, and the Saskatchewan Cooperative Elevator in 1912. 1921 saw both the North Star and the Victoria Elevator Company built. The pool closed the last one in 1990. Oh, it looks like a brace of Chevy's Electromotive Division SD75Is. This line, of course, was built by the Canadian Northern in 1904, and service commenced July of 1905. The station was right across from Main Street. Initially a freight passenger shelter, replaced in 1910 by a fourth-class station, which was demolished in 1981. It stood at mile 35.5 from Humboldt on what Canadian National calls the Aberdeen Sub. Looking north along Government, Prud'homme sits on a big pile of stagnant ice moraine surrounded by a glacial lake bed, and we're looking down onto the lake bed there. Buffer Lake, a remnant of the glacial lake, is just off to the west, to the left. Another one of Saskatchewan's many evaporative lakes. No external drainage. Behind us was the convent. Is the convent. And that's the church of Saint Donatien et Rogatien. The first Mass was said therein on Christmas Eve of 1907. This is apparently Romanesque architecture. The bell tower was put up in 1922, and there was extensive renovations carried out in 1929. Otherwise, the core of the church dates from 1907. The village's two-room, two-story 1914 red brick school stood where the teeter-totter is now. It was greatly expanded in 1948 and replaced in 1960 by the current school here. The original convent, built by Les Filles de la Providence in 1905, was right across Government Road from the church here. In 1922, a grand new convent was built, 3 stories high, doubled as a school, I believe. Don't know when it was removed, but it's not there now. The old convent is now the museum. And this is the site of the new convent in here. Yonder is St. John the Evangelist, Ukrainian Catholic Church, built in 1945 on the west end of the village. And there's the old convent, hidden in the trees. And a closer look at St. John's, Neo-Byzantine architecture. This was the site of the first school built in Prud'homme in 1907. It was called Vester School, number 1451, because it was located on the western edge of the village. When the red brick school was built in 1914, it retained the name. In fact, even the new school was called Vester School until January of 1961. Now about the village's various names. Because the CNOR crossed the lands of the Bluebell Ranch, this place was known for a while as Marcotte's Crossing. When a siding was laid, it was called Lale for the Marcotte's daughter, the first white child born in the neighborhood. When the post office was opened, it was named for Mr. Howell, who was a Canadian Northern engineer. When the Canadian Northern failed and became part of Canadian National, this seemed to precipitate an identity crisis in the community, and after much discussion, it was decided to honor Joseph-Henri Prud'homme, who in 1921 had been named Bishop of Prince Albert and Saskatoon. On November the 15th, 1922, the name was officially changed, and the post office followed suit on February the 1st, 1923. Home of a cheese factory from 1928 to 1948 and Ringer Furniture Factory from 1963 to 67, Prud'homme, Saskatchewan.